Welcome to British Business with Matt Holland. And we've got Charlie here again.
Hello, Matthew.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Are you still in Amsterdam?
Amsterdam, yes I am.
Yep, lovely.
We're recording this straight after the last one.
You look just like you did in the last episode.
Yeah,
I
it's
made
funny,
an
though.
effort. I took my fleece off.
Shall I take my t-shirt?
No, it's too late now, mate. It's too late. We're rolling.
Yeah.
Cameras are rolling. It's too late.
Yeah. Okay, well, today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go straight into it?
Please, yeah, go on. Tell me.
Why are you in a hurry? What's going on?
No, not going in a hurry. Well, no, there's a few more things that are scheduled in for the rest of the day, but I'm in no hurry. You're my priority, baby.
Here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that we did that run?
That we did it? Oh, you did it? Yeah, I did see it. Yes, you
yeah,
completed it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good, that.
What I want to know is, how did you get on against the guy in the warehouse? Because that has not been reported on just yet.
Little Rowan, he beat me.
Did he? Good lad.
But
How did he beat you by a long shot?
A couple of minutes.
Good lad.
I'm quite happy for him though. Like, yeah,
I'm proud of him.
Do you know what I was very happy with overall?
Go on.
A load of people ran a 10K that would never have ran a 10K if we hadn't have done that charity run.
Outside of the comfort zone, do something different.
Exactly, yeah.
I love that.
So it was good. And we raised like 1,500 quid.
That's good.
Pretty good. And obviously you provided the T-shirts free of charge, which is very kind of you.
Fantastic.
So thank you for that. So shout out to Taylor, Workwear Innovation.
Fucking prick.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, a bit sore from that on Saturday. I was, but yeah, it was all good. So this week's episode.
Yeah, talk to me, baby.
We've not spoken about AI in business.
Is that because I know absolutely shit all about it?
Well, that's good, actually. But we've not spoken about it for a good couple of months.
Yeah.
Like, I spoke a lot about it last year. I was using it a lot, and I've continued to use it. And it's also, my opinions are evolving. And I think I'm maybe ChatGPT. I'm sorry, but I think you might be getting replaced.
Oh, so, come on, right? Tell me what's been evolving. I'm going to ask the question here.
Okay.
Your thought process is evolving. Why? Where were they to begin with, and what are they now?
Well, let's start off with the title and the British Business Fact of the Week.
Okay, fine.
That's my question.
Go on then, if you must.
So, episode 62. Why Claude might be the best AI tool for UK SMEs.
Sorry, who?
Claude.
Okay.
Not Claude, Claude.
Okay.
Oh, and just a note, if anyone's listening and you listen regularly, please can you make sure you are subscribed on YouTube and you're following us on Spotify. And a really big thing that helps out the algorithm on those platforms is if you can comment and or like the video on YouTube and then also leave us a rating on Spotify after listening. That'd be a big help. Charlie would really appreciate it, and he'd give you a discount off your workwear for your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't agree to that.
No, we can work something out, can we? For all the loyal fans.
And if he doesn't give you a discount on his workwear, you can visit www.hollandsworkwear.co.uk.
Oh, okay.
And we can help you out instead, and we can do the embroidery via.
Yeah, I was going to say, he won't be able to embroider it though, but hey, I'm sure he can ask someone else to.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things you got to do there, isn't it? On Spotify and Apple and YouTube and stuff. That's a lot of things you're asking people to do, isn't it?
Not if you're if you're a moron, maybe, but I don't really want. If you're a moron, just unsubscribe.
Isn't it weird? I listen to British Business. I listen to that on Spotify, but I listen to everything else on Apple. And then I got some things I just watch on YouTube. They're all podcasts. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to. I've had a bit of hiatus from listening to podcasts, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've stayed away. I must admit, it's been hard. It's been hard graft to get into, and I used to be an avid listener.
Yeah, I listened to James Sinclair's podcast on, was it Monday? Yeah, Monday yesterday. No, 2 days ago. while I was out running, and he's pretty good and consistent. There's a few good ones. There is good podcasts out there. But anyway, AI, British Business Facts of the Week. 99% of UK businesses are SMEs. We established that fact a couple of episodes ago. But fewer than 20% are actively using AI tools in their operations. Because I think a lot of people say that they're using AI, but I think what they're doing is they're playing with AI and they're using it as a search engine. Are you using AI in your business, Charlie?
Not day to day, no.
And what would you, if
only my interactions with AI?
And what are your interactions with AI typically?
I guess like sort of assistant roles more than anything. Like checking some of the stuff I want to do, planning some like ideation in terms of like maybe some scripting or some like emails and stuff or something that we want to put together. I've done it to like put together some documents and stuff more recently, some like health and safety criteria and some new starter sign-in sheets and all those other bits and bobs that would take you a long time to set up yourself is kind of what I've used it for so far. But kind of the day-to-day of our business, no, ours is not really very well integrated with AI just yet.
And out of interest, what tech stack are you on?
Sorry?
What is your tech stack? What's your technology?
What does that mean, mate? What does that mean? Why is that funny? What's your tech stack? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do I use? Google or something? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. So do you use Teams? Do you use the Google Suite? Do you use I don't know what?
I'll use a bit of everything software? Really. I don't really have anything. We use Google Docs and Sheets, and sometimes we do Meet, and then we use Teams, Outlook, and the likes. Yeah, a bit of everything. We've never really been set. I think it's difficult to, isn't it? Sometimes, especially when you're interacting with like third parties and stuff that use other things.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Sam, who I do some work with from a videography perspective, he'll use he'll use docs and sheets and stuff. So we'll use that together, and then other people might use the standard range of Excel and whatnot, and you might be doing some stuff on there. So I think sometimes it's difficult to say this is what I use.
Yeah.
What do you use?
We use 365.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, and then we use Google Sheets and Docs as well. So we use a hybrid kind of setup on that side of things. But the reason I ask is because the different AI platforms, the LLMs, so the large language models, they integrate. Some of them integrate with certain things, and some of them don't integrate with others. So I just wondered.
Interesting.
But you're using. Have you got a ChatGPT subscription for the business then?
Mm.
So you're on like their, what is it, ChatGPT Plus or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
and how many seats are you paying for?
Sorry?
How many seats are you paying for?
How many seats?
How many users?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know. It'd only be me and Tom using it, I would have thought.
Right, so you and Tom have got access to it, basically.
Yeah.
So you've not like given access to the wider team to allow them some time to kind of have a play and get used to it.
No,
because that costs a lot of money. Yeah, so we're doing a similar thing. So within our business, we've kind of like, we've done it in layers. Like I challenged the status quo probably about 2 years ago and said, hey, we need to start using AI more in the business. Met with a little bit of resistance, but I think overall, like people have kind of since then been like, okay, yeah, actually, we need to kind of start using this. So we've got like all the directors with access to ChatGPT, and then some of the senior team have got access to paid ChatGPT. And I suppose what I view as that is that we're like in a research and development phase where I'm allowing them to do what you've described, which is just kind of like have a play with it, use it how you think you can use it. And then my view is that and this is why I'm mentioning it on the podcast, is I think it's the role of the business owners to then trickle it down and come up with the use case scenarios, unless you have someone technical in the business who can spearhead that for you.
Yeah, so I think that's what like the key thing there is. You're saying like, how do you use it in your business? Well, actually, people aren't using it in their business, are they? They're saying they use it in their business, but the reality is they're just interacting with an AI model of some sort to help them with some aspect of their day to day. But what you're talking about is how do you properly integrate it in the running and in the day to day operation of your business, right?
Well, is that not using it in your business?
Yeah, but is it, or is it just so people can go, I use AI in my business for one of the check this out. This is what I use to how I use AI in my business. It's all bullshit, isn't it?
What do you think of the LLMs and like what's your view on ChatGPT and just AI in general?
I think it's all very, very clever, but I think it's only, from my perspective, I think it's only as good as the interaction is given from a human. So I think, look, you can spot them a mile off at the moment. I like see it every day on LinkedIn. See loads of stuff online. People have used it for. I've dabbled in using it for a few caption generations and stuff in the early days, but I just think now it's just rubbish. Like, because it isn't ideating anything new. It's just generic regurgitated crap, and it means that every sort of thing is the same and there's no creativity. So from like my perspective, I think it still needs a level of human being to make it good, and I think that's where like those prompts come from. You know, trying to almost like iron out what your thought process is and what's going through your brain. I think it works quite well at, but only if you're telling it that. If you know what I mean.
But surely is that not connected to? It's connected to the input. So if you're
absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And maybe,
but you've got lots of people saying, write me a post for LinkedIn today, and this is what I want to write about. Well, it's not them, is it? It's not their thoughts. It's coming out of their. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of it about. You can spot it a mile off. I don't know.
I've not really been posting on LinkedIn because it's kind of ruined that for me a little bit. Because I went through posting quite regularly last year, and I got a lot of value out of expressing my thoughts on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
I think that's when people are saying we're using AI. Well, okay, you might be using AI, but okay, well done you.
Yeah. Well,
but I think there's got to be some scope in it for your sorts of business. You think like from like bots in call centers and trying to assist people with queries and trying to like push people towards different product choices, etc., etc. There's got to be some assistance with that, right?
Yes, I think. I fundamentally disagree with you. Like, to start off with.
What with what?
So, with just, I suppose you're. I mean,
me sweeping it under the rug and saying it's a load of rubbish, which I'm not. I'm not, by the way.
You kind of said that.
No. What I'm saying is that business owners saying that they use AI in their business. I think you come up with the facts and figures there. Said 99% of businesses are SMEs, but only 20% of them are using it in their business. I would challenge that to say that's an awfully lot lower when you talk about what is using it in your business. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the other thing that I think, and just trying to establish a baseline here as well of kind of where you stand, but there's also a big misinterpretation of what AI is. So for a very long time, you've had things called APIs, which is like basically it's
your little links.
It's a connection point between two pieces of software so they can communicate and share data via an API.
Yeah.
I don't even know what API stands for, but we've got loads of them in our business.
API links.
Well, what does it stand for, Charlie?
Don't know, mate, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So the short of it is that some people seem to think that automation is AI, and it's not. So there's been lots of ways of automating things. So like Zapier, as an example, is a platform which you can automate things via via APIs. So you can basically, if you're doing a task, it can then communicate with another piece of software and pass the data over, and it's an automation effectively. And I think businesses have started using automations like that either via Zapier or via other platforms, but it's branded up as AI, and it's not AI. So I think there's probably a bit of misinterpretation of like how people are using AI. My view on AI is, for me, what pure AI is and pure AI use within business is agentic AI. So agentic AI is where you have an AI agent which does tasks for you.
Got ya.
And runs in the background and understands who you are, what you do, and it can act as that virtual assistant almost. So while I'm working, you can delegate tasks to it effectively. And And I think there's going to be, in the next 12, 18 months, I think that's going to become more and more of a bigger thing. And I think there's a lot of, from the businesses that I talk to, I think the people that are leveraging it best at the moment are solo entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I know one that's doing it very well as well. Just started.
Who's that then? Can you say?
Guy,
don't say.
Yeah, well, we want to get him on as a guest at some point, I think.
Okay, right.
But yeah, but this guy is solo entrepreneur, big on socials, etc., and he's started to use like a booking bot to try to book and schedule his work. And I've run through the test of it, and I tell you what, it's bloody fantastic.
But then is that an AI? Is that a automation or is it an agentic AI? And this is kind of the grey area.
This thing's talking to you.
Well, that's impressive. So it's like a voice.
Yeah, it was doing all doing all the calculations, scheduling it with other things. It's good.
It's
quoting for him. So I would have thought that's probably there's a little bit of intelligence there, right?
Yeah. So I think it perhaps is following a rule set. But my point is that there's a bit of a grey area between automation and what is true AI, artificial intelligence. So that's a problem because I think people misidentify. But actually what we're here talking about today is business, and does that matter? So when I think we talk and think about AI, we should be thinking about AI and automation at the same time. Because I think automation is a way of freeing up time for business owners.
Yeah.
Especially like, so I think it's opened up business owners' minds to automation, but it's like kind of in the Trojan horse, if you like, of AI.
AI, yeah.
If you
I get what you mean, mate.
So,
in talking about AI, you've effectively discovered something that was around for a long time previously, and you're starting to implement that now.
Exactly, but it's labelled up and branded as AI.
Yeah.
So that's a misconception that a lot of people have. But then I think the types of businesses that I've come across that are actively using AI in their businesses are solopreneurs, if you like, where they're a one-man band and they are actively using it to do anything and anything from like marketing activities, like for example, like Jacob from Lockwood Smocks, who is a smaller business, not a sole entrepreneur, but he's using ChatGPT to help him with his content marketing plan. And I think it's almost like having a team. So if you were in a larger organization and you were within a creative team, you'd be able to bounce ideas around the room. And I think it offers that to a certain degree. Yeah. It's not always right. But the problem is that it's also about the source and data that you provide it with for context.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So what a lot of people do is they won't provide it with the context, and then they'll end up with either very clearly AI written posts or concepts or emails, but they've not given it context or tone of voice. So I think the next step is people understanding how to use it a little bit better, if you follow me.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to focus it in, because I wanted to talk about Claude a little bit today.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Claude?
No, only you told me to look at it prior to this. I didn't know what it was before.
Right. So ChatGPT's kind of been quite dominant for the last year or so. Like everyone talks about it as being like the number one, and it's quite a breakthrough in the sense that it's a marketing breakthrough because LLMs have been around for a while. Like Jackie was telling me the other day that Brave, which is a web browser, has had an LLM built into it for a few years prior to ChatGPT, and it's pretty good, he said. So LLM, for people that don't understand, is a large language model, which is basically a AI chatbot that's been provided with data and context broadly, and then you can ask it questions and interact with it. So that's what an LLM is. And it is more nuanced than that. But Claude is effectively owned by Anthropic, which is another AI organization. And then you've got things like Grok, Perplexity. There's different ones. They've got Gemini. Jackie's big on Gemini at the moment, so I've been chatting to him a little bit about that this week.
I still find I use Gemini quite a bit, though.
And is that because it's free included within your Google?
Yeah, you go straight in Google, don't you? Like, it's just, that habitual thing of like Googling something. Whereas I know deep down that I can get the answers from pretty much well, I can get the answers from ChatGPT. I can do whatever I like, but that go-to on the phone is the thumbs automatically take me to Safari, and I'm straight in. I'm googling the question, and then I'm getting my AI generated responses and stuff. So I still use that quite heavily, but primarily because it's like just habitual.
Yeah,
it's just there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
So you're talking about Gemini being sat within the google.com or the
I think so.
web browser,
I think that must be what it is, yeah.
So when you're asking Google a question, because you would historically have just Googled something, that was a phrase, like, I'll Google it. It's now coming up with Gemini, coming up with the response.
Yeah.
And then you can bounce a question back, and rather than just receiving a search result with websites,
you can ask it anything effectively from there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, I'm with you. But what type of things do you think you could use, and I'll talk about Claude in a minute, but what type of things do you think you could use AI for in your business that you maybe not got the time for at the moment?
I think like email responses for sure.
Okay.
I think there would be scope for us to do something in terms of like data scraping emails to produce orders if we could work out how to do it. Does that make sense?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, like when you get when you get an order and says, "Hi mate, can I have X, Y, and Z times this, X, Y, and Z times this, X, Y, and Z times this?" Is that process of taking that information from the email and inputting that into a system to create an order?
Well, that's dead easy. You just have an order portal.
Well, yeah, I know it is. What if people do that automatically? I get that, yeah, but still, you're asking people to. You can have orders from all forms of places, couldn't you?
I'm with you, but
do you know what I mean? People message me on Instagram. You get WhatsApp messages. People placing orders. Right, yeah. You've got data coming in from loads of different sources. Facebook Messenger,
do you find
our own mobile phones, etc., etc. So it's like.
So I can think of solutions that straight away. So you have lots of connection points with your customers. So you almost need something that can pull those messages in and pull them into one centralized mailbox effectively. Yeah,
which I guess you can do from Meta Business, you can do it for those sorts of things, but then you've got others, haven't you? There's different avenues as well. So
I can tell you. What it would do is it basically take the messages and put them into like orders, and then. So you could definitely build something. You could build something like that with N8N or Zapier. And what it would do is it would hook up to all those different platforms. As a message comes in, it would then pull the data through to Zapier, connect it with an LLM, interpret it, and then send you an email.
Yeah.
But that isn't AI, in my opinion. That's just an automation.
I'm laughing because you said I could build something. You did make me chuckle. I just couldn't hold it in. Right.
Mate,
to be able to do some of these things, mate, you need to sit in one spot and look at something for more than 10 minutes.
Do you think that's a big problem? Do you think the people, so that 80% of business owners that are not genuinely playing with AI, let's just say like playing with AI is the metric. Do you think, because that's the main focus of this, is like why are not many business owners? Do you think it's just they don't have the time?
Yeah, you're like, I know we joke about like the ADHD brain and you going from one thing to another, but if you got your teeth into something, you stick there and you get your teeth through it, don't you?
Yeah.
If there's a problem to be solved and there's something that needs to happen, you will make it happen regardless of how long you got to sit in front of it.
Yeah.
Well, 10 minutes after I've started something, I'm like, fuck this. Right, what's next? Or an email will come in and I'll be like, oh, that's exciting. Let's go and do that. Or my phone starts ringing. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, this is going to be a good order. Let's answer that one. And I'm just trading and I'm just flowing day to day through the messiness of what is business. And I'm never very good at going, right, this is my project. This is what I'm working on, because I probably haven't got myself out of the whole day-to-day stuff.
Do you think, though, that's because you exist in chaos, in the sense that you allow chaos to happen because you're not following a system and a process for your day?
Yeah, or I work in a business where cash generation is actually quite important and I'm the main cash generator of my business. I think is probably how I would clarify it more, as opposed to carnage or whatever you just said. Chaos. Is that because you're just happy to exist in chaos? No, it's chaos.
Oh dear.
It's well thought through chaos.
Tom's quite organised, isn't he?
Yeah, he's quite methodical. Yeah, Tom is methodical. So is Kieran. But then we're in a position, like I said before, where we're asking people to do lots of different things, and actually our roles are quite spread. So it's very, very difficult to say, right, you just take care of inbound sales now, and this is your job. You're going to make sure the orders go on, because ultimately we've all got to do a bit of that.
The way I like to look at it is I write down a list of problems, because every business has a list of problems. So I write a list of problems down, and then I reorder it based upon what is the most urgent and important, what's going to add the most value, and then that's what I work on. So I'm quite methodical in that, but I have moments of madness where I'm hopping between different things, and that is what happens, and you have to have a resistance to that. So going back to the AI thing, like I think the reason why 80% of business owners don't use AI tools in their operations or their business is because of what you've described, that fatigue of operating it all the time. But like, I'm not being funny, but we can all definitely find a couple of hours a week to explore these platforms, and have a play. 100%. We have all got the time to do that. But I suppose the reason why I'm shouting about Claude is because I think Claude is better than ChatGPT. So anyone that's listening that's having a play with ChatGPT, I would really strongly recommend switching to Claude for maybe a period of a month or 6 weeks. We've just signed up for Claude in our business the last few weeks, and I've been playing with it personally for quite a while. And I think as far as an LLM is concerned, I think it's much better. I think it's much more well-rounded, and there's a lot more tools built within it. I also have a bit of a beef with ChatGPT at the moment, where I think its memory is quite poor. So I've got a number of ongoing projects within ChatGPT where I've fed it with tons of information. And then I'll open a new conversation within that project and ask it to do a simple task. And it will effectively do the task, but do it not very well and not to the specific things that I've asked it to do.
Yeah, so you get to a certain point and then you ask it to do a little bit further, and it's almost like it's jumped back and started again. Yeah.
And that's due to something called a token limit. So within an individual conversation with an AI LLM, there is a token limit to that conversation, and that's also linked in with the subscription that you're paying for and things like that. But ChatGPT, I think it's worse now than it was when I first started using it. Yeah, so I think we've gone backwards, but I think it's gone backwards. It's like, think about it like I'm trying to think of a fun analogy, but I won't. But basically, the more weight that's put on something, the more load that goes through it.
Yeah.
And things start to break. And I just think that ChatGPT is so well subscribed now. They're generating the revenue and the profit, and they're having to spread the I suppose the technology resources that they have, the GPUs and the processing power over all these different conversations. I just think they're struggling. That's my view. And I think the token limits aren't increasing, which is frustrating. Whereas Claude, my experience so far has been much more positive. It seems to have a much better memory and recall, not only within conversations, but within projects as a whole. So, for example, with this little side hustle that I've got with the podcast, I have a project in there, and I can obviously openly talk about that, whereas some of the other stuff I can't, which is why I'm using it as an example. But I've got a project in there where it helps me with ideation for topics to discuss on the podcast. So before today's episodes, I ask it for maybe 5 or 10 different podcast ideas that are relevant to current topics in business, and then it'll chuck them out, and then I'll have a bit of a conversation with him, and then I'll ask it a simple question, which would be, can you draft the show notes based upon that topic for this episode? And it'll do it, and then I'll be like, but you've not done it the way that I've asked you to in the project files, because you can put context files into projects, which for anyone that's not used projects in ChatGPT, it is pretty good. So you can have a project for a particular topic that you might be working on. So I've got one for my podcast, and what I do is I upload, whenever I have a conversation, I upload the transcript from the last episode that was recorded. I also upload a copy of like a template for show notes, which is formatted in a particular way, and I ask it to follow that. So it has a bit of context, but I think it's becoming lazy. That's my kind of general opinion. So I'd be interested to hear what people think about that in the comments of today's episode. But I'm having a go with Claude, and I've had some really good wins with Claude. And I also think, more importantly, that the agentic features are much better. So a few months ago, I got ChatGPT's agent mode to create a new Microsoft SharePoint for our business, and we'd had a quote for like 1,500 quid, maybe £2,000 to set it up and implement it and manage the migration. So our IT provider had quoted us for that. So we were on Dropbox and it needed migrating over and moving all the data and files and all the rest of it. And there was a few other bits and pieces. I was like, we can do this. So I had some conversations with ChatGPT, and I got it to basically set up the Microsoft SharePoint in agent mode. So it logged in on the browser, it did it. It logged into my Microsoft account, created it, had a play around with it, and it did the job quite well. I did it in a test environment first, and talk about it at a theory level, and then I allowed it to do it. But it was very cumbersome, slow, and it took a long time. And now this is probably best part of a year ago, maybe 9 months ago. Yesterday, I got it to do a very similar task, but I didn't use ChatGPT. I used Claude, and it did it from start to finish in about 5 minutes. And what I got it to do is I've got a personal Dropbox now with all my personal folders and files in. And it was just a bit of a mess, and it just needed all resorting out and migrating. And it just did it very quickly. And I just thought, do you know what? This is the product of agentic AI has moved on so much. So I would just suggest to people to have a download of Claude. I know it's another cost of the business, but pay for the subscription and get the desktop app, because there's this thing called Co-work where it's in beta at the moment, but you can delegate it tasks, which is pretty interesting. So you can give it access to your files and folders, just like ChatGPT. But I do think it's a potentially better option, I would say.
Interesting.
Do you like?
Excuse me.
Just a broader question for you. Do you think that time for using AI, that's a challenge for you because you're saying you feel that you're a bit stretched?
Yeah, I think it's there to try and when you don't have enough time, isn't it? At the moment,
do you think there's a gap in the market for businesses that help other businesses with AI implementation?
Yes, but there's also lots of people that already proclaim to be experts in AI, isn't there?
In what way?
Oh, you see it all the time, don't you, on LinkedIn? There's a model for this and a model for that, and then there's an app for this because this has been done by this. And what this does is take this information from here, there, and everywhere. It manages to create you videos and God knows what else.
But from an SME perspective, do you think it's a potential business model where
like a consultancy?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily thinking for myself, but it's an interesting one. I think it's going to be a big growth sector. Actually, I think like a little bit like. Let me think. I'm trying to think of something comparable. I don't really think there has been much, but
not in our lifetime, has there? Well, not in our careers.
Not on this scale. But what I wonder is it a type of consultancy or business that's going to explode? Because there's a lot of SME business owners that maybe not as technically savvy as me or maybe you. Part of that's just down to age and what have you. I don't know. Where they will be willing to pay a third-party business to come in and implement AI or automations into their business.
You going to set that up, are you?
No, I don't. No.
Is that the next venture?
I don't know, maybe.
I think so.
I think that's going to boom as an industry. Yeah.
Maybe it's an opportunity for a networking group to get together and help each other.
Yeah,
maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe it doesn't have to be monetized. I don't know. We had a funny conversation the other week, didn't we, about people like that? Everything being about cash all the time. Whether or not you could do things to help people, didn't we?
Yeah, and you know my view on that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, so let's just go back to the topic because I'm conscious of time. But like, what do you think? So your view is that business owners are busy and they need to focus on sales and revenue in the short term.
I think it's important to strike the balance. I think you need to be very, very aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think, I joke, but I am very aware of what's going on. I am very aware of the change, and I am very aware of how that could impact not only me, but also my kids. So it's something, it does plague my brain an awful lot. I listen to a lot about it, read a lot about it. Have I got to the point of where I'm harnessing it the way I'd want to in our business? Absolutely not. But we definitely are interacting with it quite regularly. But yeah, that'd be my overall summary.
I think for things like, because what can happen to small businesses is you get like, I don't know, a new lease from your landlord, touching on last week's episode, and the landlord's like, here's your new lease, sign it. And you don't want to spend that $2 or $3 grand with a solicitor, which again, I think is a mistake. I think people should spend the money on solicitors. But you could, in theory, you could do a sense check with 3 different LLM models. So you could chuck ChatGPT in pro mode. You could chuck Claude in its like research mode or whatever it's called, and then the same with another one. And you could say, hey, I've received this. You give it some context.
I have done this as well.
The previous lease, and you give it the new lease. It then has a look at it and it spits out its thoughts. The key thing then is then understanding that and actually taking action on it. Because I think sometimes people have conversations with ChatGPT and don't actually listen to the outcome.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a problem.
I got a question for you.
Go on.
When you're talking to ChatGPT, do you always thank him afterwards?
Not recently, because he's been a bit of a knob.
I think you still should.
Why?
Because one day they're coming for us and they're going to remember. They're going to remember whether or not you were polite when you were asking him questions about how to make the best baked beans on toast. They're going to remember that. So you need to make sure you're talking nicely to your AI.
Well, I don't need to ask. I don't need to ask ChatGPT how to make beans on toast, because it's what northern people eat every day. Whereas for
how do you make the best ones then, mate?
What would it be? Caviar on toast in the south? What's the?
Do you have a topping?
What do you mean a topping?
Do you have a topping on your beans on toast?
I like the toast to have Marmite on it.
Here we go.
So butter Marmite, a can of Branston beans.
Branston beans, interesting.
Yeah. And that's probably me good. Like, you can add other things in, like fish fingers are pretty good.
What about sprinkling cheese on top?
Well, we didn't say beans and cheese on toast, did we? We were talking about beans on toast, because I think the cheese changes it. You can't have the fish fingers then.
Fine.
Going back to it though, like other things like HR policies, employee handbooks, it's good for stuff like that.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant for all those documentation stuff. Yeah, definitely. I think so.
Supplier contracts.
Yep.
Like, quick send it in. Have you ChatGPT? Have you got any thoughts on this? Is there any little problems that he's putting in? Any little sneaky clauses that I need to be aware from? But the key thing with all of that for me is context, and you have to provide the LLM with a bit of information about your business. Yeah. But if you've got an ongoing project and conversation, not an actual chat, but like a project,
it should know about
some context. It should know. And what you can do is you can get these LLMs, ChatGPT, Claude, to write a master prompt about you, which then you can then copy and paste and put into other LLMs and then ask it a question. So you'll then test in multiple angles. So
I think me and you need to have a conversation about this in more depth, don't we? Because you sound like you know a lot about it.
Well, maybe, I wouldn't say I know a lot about it. I've just maybe played with it a little bit more. Maybe I've had the time. Maybe I've not had the time, but I've made the time. I think that's something I would say.
Made the time's important. I think this is important.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think things like looking at like, right, I run a warehouse. What do I need from a health and safety and procedural basis in terms of like SOPs, so operating procedures? What would be a standard security policy for me to have in my business? Like, and how should I track it and hold it to account? Ask it HR. You can get to, I think, a very basic level,
yes,
and then if you have a HR partner on top, it kind of it gives you that final layer. I mean, I think those businesses are pretty cooked, to be honest with you.
Which ones? HR business?
Yeah. HR. I think in 10 years' time, I think legal practices are going to be struggling.
So do I.
It's very interesting. It's definitely going to change things. And then from a marketing and content perspective, I've got a few ideas down, like product descriptions. We're not doing enough of that on ours, but then I've been very skeptical from an SEO perspective. So be very careful with that if you're listening and thinking of doing that. Same with blog posts. My view is you shouldn't write content for your website, like blog content for your website using AI. I think it's a really bad move. And Google can strike you down for it. Look, because the search engines and the AI models, they want you to be using original first-hand written content so that then it can feed into their LLM model.
Yeah,
So
I
if they
don't think
look at your,
there's any harm in like just doing a little bit of tweak here and there, but I think most of it needs to come from you, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
If
Well,
you're asking someone to rewrite a sentence or something or a paragraph to check your punctuation, then fine. But that's what I was saying earlier.
What I would do is I would look at it from a like, right, with the copywriter has written the blog, let's insert it and ask for feedback on grammar, and then correct those changes, or feedback on the content and say, hey, I don't want you to rewrite it, but can you give me some points that I can expand upon, or do you think it's too long? And use it as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
From a copywriting perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think a lot of it's got to come from you, and that.
Yeah, so this is the key thing: is it doesn't replace you or necessarily replace people. It's like a co-pilot. Like obviously Microsoft's thing is called a co-pilot. That's the way I look at it. I think it's a co-pilot to your job.
Yeah,
I think context is helpful.
Yeah.
I think people that if you had an LLM that had access to your emails, your WhatsApp messages, your texts, your missed phone calls, and everything digital within your business, surely it would be able to help you assess what is urgent and important at the start of every day.
Yeah, definitely.
And create you like a to-do list that automatically sends you at 7 a.m. I know,
like your very own executive assistant.
Exactly. So that kind of admin assistant role, PA. And eventually they'll be able to send emails for you and book appointments in and stuff like that. But you're skeptical still.
No, I don't think I am. No, I don't think I am. I just think it's important just to like make sure you're implementing it in the right places, isn't it? I don't think I'm skeptical. I'm not skeptical of its use.
Yeah. So ChatGPT question of the week.
Usefulness. Definitely not skeptical of that.
So ChatGPT question of the week. If you had Claude running inside your business tomorrow, which task or job do you think it could replace easily first? So let's just replace Claude with ChatGPT because you've not used Claude yet. So is there anything that you know and you think, do you know what, I could, if I had the time and effort, I could use it more effectively for a simple task or a complex one?
I think order processing for sure.
So if you were to explain it, so use it as a operations consultant and explain to it your current order processing practices and help you systemize it, or do you mean the actual physical task of agentically supporting you?
I think the physical task of collating and inputting, I think, could be done. I don't think it'd be easy though, and I don't think it would replace anyone.
I think it would.
I don't think it would replace anyone in our business, mate.
Well, at scale, it would.
At scale, it would. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you want to get those.
The business as it is at the moment, no, it wouldn't.
But you want to get those systems in place now, so as you scale, you don't have to hire more roles. That's the flip side of it. And it's like you could have automations in place so that when a status is changed on a Google sheet for a particular order, say a customer's order from, right, stock has been received with us, it's now moving to this, it will then trigger off that Google sheet and send an email straight to the customer and say, FYI, the stock that we ordered for your order has arrived, it's now about to enter into production.
Sounds so complicated.
Sounds very easy.
Does it? Does it actually sound easy to you?
Yeah, I reckon I could implement that into your business within a day.
No way.
Honestly, mate, there's guides and software out there.
Well, that's really interesting because I look at the pieces of software we use at the moment and I think they're very, very restrictive. And then I just think we're just pigeonholed into that. So you saying that has opened up my mind and been like...
Yeah, because basically you effectively have read access to a Google sheet and your guys, when stock arrives in for order X, on that line on the Google sheet, they just change the status to stock received. And then you'd have Zapier reading the sheet, and what it would do is it would then just send a call over to, say, Klaviyo or whatever it be, and it would be just an order trigger to send an email to that customer saying, hey, your stock has arrived. It should be this amount of time on average. Just
bloody hell, man.
It's the future, mate. Your competitors will be doing that.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. Like, that's why I think business owners need to listen and say no, because like you've got to innovate,
or you evaporate.
Oh, you evaporate, as Mr. Sinclair says. There we are. What do you reckon? Then he's what, Mr. Burt? Is it James Burt?
Yep,
Is it
James Burt.
Yeah,
Yep,
he's
JB.
no longer on. JB's no longer on his pod, is he?
No, he's doing some intermittent shows, is what he tells me, because we are actually doing some work for him at the moment, which is very exciting.
Oh, interesting. Can you say what you're doing for him?
No, not at the moment. No, I think it's probably wise to just keep that hush hush. But he's got a lot going on at the moment, which is great. But
both are
very busy, which is a shame, really.
He's a big fan of yours, isn't he?
Who?
Mr. Burt.
I don't know if he's a big fan. I'm a big fan of his. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's funny. Funny character. Right, well, listen. Are we recording next week? What's cracking? What's going on?
Yeah.
What should we talk about next week?
I think I should do an interview you next week. I think we should ask you some key questions.
Can I have
Oh, why'd you frown? Can you have access to them first?
Yeah.
No.
That's bold. So you could do like a full-on hatchet job.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't do that to you, would I? Only important business stuff.
So you wouldn't stitch me up like I stitch you up?
No, wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah. Should we do that next week then?
Yeah, okay, I think we should do it.
Okay, no pressure. Well, you better start your homework then.
Yeah, I will, mate. I'll get straight on it.
Good lad. Right, guys, thank you for listening. Fucking hell, 46 minutes.
There's no way anyone's got to the end of that, so they have no fucking idea what's coming next week.
Yeah. People do listen to the end.
Fair play to them. I love them.
Yeah.
All 6 of them.
All 6 of them.
Right.
Did you see that graph that I sent you with the Spotify?
Yeah. Very exciting,
that is impressive, that.
The graph is going up.
Yeah, which, I mean...
I'm surprised that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I thought it would go down after
I thought
Tom
there'd have been an initial peak
on.
and then it'd been like, fuck that, I ain't listening to them till the time.
No, February was very strong for us.
Oh, good.
Best month ever in terms of active listeners.
Bloody hell.
Tuning in.
Maybe they like the waffle.
The waffle. The wafflers.
The wafflers, yeah.
Maybe that's what we should change the title of the podcast to.
The wafflers.
The wafflers.
Business bollocks with Matt and Charlie.
Bollocks business.
I've just come up with that off the top of my head. That's really impressive.
Bollocks to business.
Yeah, bollocks to business. Anyway, we're at 47 and a half minutes now and we're just eating up time. So should we say bye?
Right, yeah. Right. Goodbye.
Okay, love you, bye.